Welcome to Beyond Beauty, the Professional Beauty Association's podcast, where we take a deeper look inside the hearts and minds of the professionals and executives working in the professional beauty industry. And today I am very honored to have with me Guillaume Duez. You are the general manager for Kérastase and Schuermera. I am so excited to talk to you both about your background. You have a really interesting background in event and professional beauty for a while, and also get your thoughts on the future and where professional beauty is headed. So thank you so much for making time for us today to be with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you for having me, and looking forward to spending that time conversing and exchanging with you. Very honored.
Thank you so much. Well, first things first, how did you get your start in beauty and then into professional beauty?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So I actually studied in France in a university in Paris, and when I was doing my master's in marketing, so I knew I wanted to do marketing. I always knew I wanted to do something that would have an international component. So I went for studies in marketing and international business. And during my master's degree, we had this school project, or university project, and a graduation project where we'll by group go, and it was a big salad bowl, and we'll pick up what was the theme of what we're supposed to work on for the next 3 months, right? So it could be snacks, tennis rackets. And so when I picked, me and my friend, actually I picked hair coloring products. And so we, at this point, so we start researching. We realized there's all the at home, then there's a professional, and we worked on it for the next 4 months. And so funny story, at that time I came up with the idea, why don't we do, and every time we have to present to the 200 or 300 people, we do always different hair color. So my friend said, great idea, let's do that. So I actually went to the salon and completely bleached my hair. And on the day I showed up for the introduction, I turn around waiting for my friend. He comes up like, didn't change. Say, no, I chickened out. I didn't do it. I say, man, I've just spent, I have dark base hair. So I just spent like 6-7 hours. And, at the time you were talking about like the early 2000s, there's not as many products as there is today. Blonding is so I learned very early on what does it take. And all jokes aside, after that, in my university, there was a recruitment campus, and L'Oréal was one of the companies that often came. And in France, L'Oréal is both from a marketing perspective, the image of the company, and the international appeal that it had was strong to me. So I interviewed, and I did an internship, and that's how I started working there. And then fast forward a couple of years after, when I came to the US, I had the opportunity to be recruited by L'Oréal in 2010. So it's a good story.
And you've been with L'Oréal for most of your career.
So I've been with L'Oréal since 2010.
Okay.
Before that, I worked for another. I was in beauty as well, for a men's grooming company. So that was more entrepreneurial, based in New York. So that I enjoyed a lot. And before that, I worked for Italian publishing company in Paris for a couple of years doing product development. And I'm actually trying to pull from my Instagram here, so you see I'm like looking.
Oh my gosh, that is you! Oh my gosh, I love it.
So anyway,
you went all in on that project.
I did, and so I did. then I dyed my hair silver, and then I dyed my hair blue, and then I shaved my head. Believe it or not, because with the regrowth and everything was getting out of control.
I love the commitment to beauty and getting completely immersed in the industry.
No, it's a fun industry to be in. I think I personally enjoy the human aspect of it, the people side of it, and you mentioned beauty, but when you double click into professional beauty, then you get to work, and especially in a brand like Kérastase, you get to work with entrepreneurs, you get to work with salon owners, and there's so much passion around it. I'll tell you something I see, today in the corporate world, when we have to take a training, everybody, we have to take a training, I have to make sure it gets done. Adult learning in our industry, it's something that you know, never stops. And that's why education is, I believe, one of the main differentiators for each and every single brand. But where I'm always amazed is no matter how far people are in their career, you just start, you're an assistant, you want to be a stylist, you want to become an artist, you're a salon owner, then you want to pass that on. It really never stops. And the passion behind it, the energy is something that really I've never seen in any other industry, and it's always refreshing. Last week I was in Los Angeles for artist training. We've opened the ProLab. L'Oréal now has a academy of for the professional division, and we had 70 of our top artists coming in, and they always want to learn, and then on top of it, they want to pass that on. You know, I think that this idea of passing on the knowledge, that's the generosity, the unselfishness of it. We have when I was in Paris a couple of weeks ago, one of our customers happened to be there, and we're exchanging over drinks, and she was telling me, you know, she came to the US as a foreigner and started and just wanted to be a hairdresser, wanted to be able to do something, and told me, you know, I never went in that business to be the successful salon owner I am today, that has 4 salons, over 100 employees. I went there because I want to do hair. And today, through learning, through consistent teaching, but now I want to pass that on. So for whoever that is, you know, if somebody wants to come in because they're passionate and they want to do hair, or if somebody wants to come because they want to be an entrepreneur. And I think the generosity behind that, because, you know, 35 years into a career, I've been being so successful, the willingness to pass that on and to inspire the next generation, that's what I genuinely enjoy in the professional division and in addition to beauty.
No, I love hearing that. And that was actually my next question, was what you love most about working in the industry.
So the people, you know, the passion around it. For me, we talked about marketing, which is, you know, the trade I wanted to do, and had the opportunity to work for L'Oréal. And then when I came in, starting to work on the professional division, because I've worked for a couple of brands. I worked for Source Matrix, I worked for Redken, and now Kérastase and Shuemoa. What was really understanding that culture even more. Fun fact: I was a couple of weeks into the job, and at the time we were working for Matrix, and I went to Palm Springs for we had Destination Imagination, so where we get a lot of the stylists, and so I realized the passion and the emotion there was in that room, close to 2,000 people in the room. And I realized, wow, like I didn't expect that, you know, from a marketing perspective, from a corporate perspective. And so I think having that proximity is something that always helped me throughout my whole career. We have hairdressers within the team. You know, some of the people I work the closest to, I've worked the closest to, I exchange the most are hairdressers. And that's why I always encourage my teams, my marketing team. Sometimes they come up with ideas. Have you spoken to so-and-so? And if they haven't, say, like, why don't you start there? You know, like we need to get out of the office. We need to get close to where things are happening. And that's our customers and our consumers as well. But the people side of it, and really the generosity, the exchange, and that's something that, you know, I've been around now for a little bit and have like friends who've done great careers in many different industries, but it's something that's unparalleled.
That's awesome. And you know, you're responsible for a number of product launches, and you've talked about some of the brands that you've been involved with. What is your development process as you're thinking about launching a product, and what do you attribute the success that you have had and these products have had along the way?
So there's a couple of things. So there's in my previous life, I was working on the product development side. So that's really, you know, where you're thinking about bringing the innovation, you brief the labs, you work with the development team, the packaging teams. And today I'm heading the business sides of things. But we still work very, very closely with the development component of the brand. It's actually based in Paris. So to your point, how do we anticipate? How do we think? Is first of all, it's listening to the market. So whether it's social listening, we still do a lot of on consumer studies, consumer panels, try to find out what the insights are, a conversation with the lab, and it's a long process. I was in Paris. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. We were working on 2024, 2025. So, now is about the time that we need to start working on that, because, we're a big company. So we need to put things in motion. And, we're based in science, we're based on research. So we also want to make sure that we can bring added value, differentiated product, the latest and greatest innovation. And we're lucky that Kérastase and Schumacher are some of the most prestigious brands within the industry, within our group, and we get to have amazing formulas, amazing conversations with our chemists, with our labs. But it's always about thinking ahead. So, it could be from an inside, it could be revisiting sometimes things that already exist, but you want to have a new take on it. I look at one of the latest launches that we've had, which is Chroma Absolu, which is our color care range. We had a color care range, but we really didn't have a point of difference. And over the years, we had lost the focus on it. And being a professional brand catering to the salons, which today the main revenue stream for the salons is through color blending services. Is we want to be able to offer the best possible range. So what will it take? And then we started working, and we brought the project to life. Another range that we've been very successful with is Genesis. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's and that was based on an insight from a consumer panel that we had from around the world about young women and the relationship they had to hair fall, the emotional attachment that they had to it, which was something new, because oftentimes we have ranges like chronologist or densifique for, but maybe it was for a more mature consumer, and then we tackled, like, is there something there, and why do they feel that way? Why young women in their 20s have that connection, have that need, and then from there we also then work closely with the labs, with the panel. We often put all our projects or concepts through to consumer panels, to consumer groups, and we do that being a global company. Of course, the US is one of the main market. Europe, where there's still a very strong activity for the company, and of course in Asia as well, and then we bring it to life. So it's always exciting when we kick it off. It sounds very far ahead, but every day counts, but we've had great success, and before that I worked on brands like Redken, where I was leading the hair color category. That's where I first started to work with Leslie Marino, who's my boss today and the president of the PPD brands. At the time, she was the head of Redken, and she came to me, and we had within the product portfolio a range that was called Shades EQ that we had been there for a while, and we were debating, is a liquid demi still a thing, and it was stagnating a little bit. I said, why don't we take a complete new take on it? What will it take? And we rebranded it. We did the first ever social campaign, which we're talking 10 years, like 6, 7, maybe more, like 8 years ago and 9 years ago. Completely different take on it, bringing a younger audience. We had come with this idea of what can we do to share the benefits of the products, but also introduce hair color to a younger audience. So what are the reasons why they don't color their hair? And then we demi semis was the best answer, because it was mostly through lift and tone. It added one of the main benefits. So we came up with this campaign that was called, we had 2 iterations of it. One was like, start flirting with color, and so we had at the time, and then we also did Gloss It Up, which the salons and all the consumers bought into. And when I look at where Shades EQ was and what it is today, we've multiplied the business by 4. We have SKUs that are probably present, I think, most of the salons today in the US, they have at least some shades EQ in complement of their permanent color. So it's a great success. And of course, there's a great success, and also the some of the ideas, some of the projects that don't work as much, but from which you learn a lot, from which you learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to have some of those great successes as well, which allow me to be here today. But it's a constant learning.
Absolutely. And it seems like you're a pretty hands-on leader. I mean, we've only just met, but I get the sense you're kind of hands-on. How would you describe your leadership style?
So it's interesting. I'm have a lot of energy. I have a very
I can tell.
my Latin side, but at the same time, I'm actually very hands up, because for me, it's all about trust and collaboration. I believe in taking risk, being open-minded. That's what allowed me to be successful over the years, and also going beyond what you're supposed to do. But by being curious. So of course you need to do what you're supposed to do. I think that's the job that we're in today. But also having this curiosity, that because that's what helps you. That's what will help you get into your next job, and that's what will help you understand what the person who's sitting next to you is doing, and how it can complement what you're doing as well. I think when as you rise also through the rank of a company, you have to learn to let go. You have to learn to let go, because you come from being a marketing expert. Now you have a responsibility of a full P&L, of a full team, and so you need to have a strong marketing expert that you can try, that you will trust to do the marketing. You need to have a strong head of sales that will be a voice in our case now that the business also is we have our D2C, so you need experts there. So I think the main mistake is believing you can do the expert's job better than them. So it's the right balance of empowering them, because at the end of the day you're accountable for it. And but really for me, what I love is team dynamics. I feel I'll tell you, when during COVID, when I was by myself at home, I felt lonely, because I needed to have the energy around the people. I'm constantly walking around. My door's always open. Anybody can come, share an ideas, discuss with me, and that's why I enjoy. And I believe you can do much more sometimes in a 15-minute hallway conversation than a meeting that's going to go on. And I think that's it goes well also with the L'Oréal culture, I believe. So,
what advice would you give to a new professional, whether they're in marketing or branding or a different role within professional beauty? What career advice would you have for them, or for yourself? Today, here's Guillaume today, but what would you tell yourself, 10, 15 years ago?
Absolutely. So I'll start maybe with the broader reach, and hopefully it has value for people who are listening and want to go into those careers. First of all, I will tell them that beauty right now, the beauty space, is a great place to be for a couple of reasons. And I'll focus on your first point, which was a brand marketer or product developer. First of all, it's very dynamic. It's constantly changing and evolving. The distribution channels are merging. There's opportunities to really understand and do a lot on the digital side, on the CRM side, on the product side, on the more traditional side, which is the legacy side, where we're coming from. If you think about even a group like L'Oréal, that is over 100 years old, the business model was done by distribution channels. But today, those lines are blurred. It's really about meeting the consumers where they are. And as a marketer, I think there's nothing stronger than having that possibility, which beauty offers that to you. You still have a strong connection to the product, because that's what you're selling. You're not selling a service. So then you have to understand your audience. And in our case, I love that I speak with salon owners, or products are used through salon services. But then, I can change my hat and now go to, we distribute our products with Sephora as well. So this time directly to a consumer that has different needs, different ways of thinking as well, We also have our e-com site, which is really our flagship. So as a French brand, it's important to make sure, you know, we look like the best, and there's the million, like it's the best content available. It's like going down the Champs-Élysées or going down Rue Saint-Honoré. So it's really our flagship. But there's all those opportunities, and it will be the marketing of tomorrow. It will be understanding the consumers, and there's new things that are coming in today. Social commerce, social media today, you cannot do without, and it's a very active industry as well. I think some of the biggest views today you have, it's in beauty, the social channels as well, the availability of content. So I think the richness of it. So my advice, it's a great place to be. It's a great place to start your career. It's a great place to make your career. I think it's also a great place to allow yourself to be successful. And to your second piece of the question, which is any advice or learnings for me, is never rest on your laurels. Continue to understand what's out there. I love spending time with our interns, our younger team members, because I learn so much from them, from where they look at the content, where they take their own inspirations from, and I think it's a very dynamic industry.
It does. It absolutely does, and leads me to this next question around, with your brands currently, you really are at the top. You're a leader in the categories. Is it tough to be at the top because everyone's chasing you? Is it tough to your point, not rest on your laurels? How do you stay at the top when you're at the top?
No, but thank you. It's a great question. First of all, I think it's when you're a leader, I think you also have a duty or a legacy to stay true to, you know, to what brought you there. And I think in the case of Kérastase and Chou et Moi, it's about, you know, the quality of the products we put out there. It's about the DNA of our brands, which are very different by nature, but it's also about understanding where we come from, and even as we evolve, what is our value proposition? What is our unique point of difference? We're talking about a brand like Kérastase, who was born in the 60s. You know, so there's a lot of brands today who are doing really well, and some of them they've only been created a couple of years ago. And so the question is, you know, over time, how will they evolve? Will they still remain a leader? You know, it's hard to remain the 60 years down the line, the #1 professional haircare brand worldwide, and it also growing in dynamic markets. So understanding your past, I think it's key. Understanding what made you successful and building from there, not just thinking that, oh, I'm successful and I'm going to be there, and try to anticipate. I think for us, it's more about the value that we can propose, the products that we can that can offer a point of difference, more than, oh, so and so is doing this, we should try to do that, because that's not, you know, sustainable. It's more, you know, if you look at the ranges, of course, we have our legacy ranges that made us successful through the years, the likes of a Nutritive, for instance, that were launched in 1969. So of course, there's the opportunity to constantly evolve them, do a lifting. But what are the new segments for consumers? What are the new products that are going to allow us as a brand to have a point of difference? And I think, you know, Genesis is a great example. It's a need that today we're one of the only brands to address, that was based on a really clear emotional insight. When we went into blonding and color care with Blanc Absolu and Chroma Absolu, of course, it's not something that was new, but also we wanted to do it our own way with a strong point of view that can allow our consumers and our salons alike to benefit from it, from the value that we've created. Our latest launch in Chou et Moi, for instance, Isomytonic, is capitalizing on a trend that exists for many years. You know, the rice water treatments back all the way to the geishas and centuries of tradition and history in Japan, but also something that is right now hitting the market. And so I think, to your point earlier, it's the combination of of innovation and meeting consumers where they are, also what they want to hear. And finally, it's continuing to challenge yourself in in the challenges of tomorrow. Always meeting, make sure we don't disappoint our consumer base, and we continue to recruit. We recruit the consumers of tomorrow. We recruit the salon partners of tomorrow, and I believe, you know, our brand today has never been as desirable, but there's still so much more that we can do in the US and worldwide, and that's what's exciting. It's the challenge ahead, more than looking at what's in the back. Okay, what's ahead, and because once you're number one, you want to remain number one.
And speaking of what's ahead, is there anything you can share with us that's in the works?
Well, I cannot tell you what we're working on for 2025, but what I will tell you is we'll continue to bring innovation to the market for our salons, our consumers alike. We just relaunched Physiodose, which is a unique service to Kérastase salons, and we're getting great
feedback. Salon a couple of weeks ago, it was fantastic.
No,
so fantastic. It made my hair like immediately just felt more moisturized, softer, and for weeks after. So
no,
yes,
thank you for the
I can say I've tried it.
And the testament. We didn't rehearse that, and but again, like it's interesting if you think about as a consumer, then the relationship and the trust that it creates with your salon. We're a prescriptive brand, so it's on that day was for the salon and the stylist to understand what were your needs, what you want to get out of it, then custom blend something for you. It creates value for the stylist, it creates value for the salons, it creates value for the consumer. But you know, some of the main areas that will like caring for your hair is something that is really what we it's our motto. You there, we care. So we invite our consumers to always there, and we'll provide them the products to be happy with. But some of the trends that we see, we continue to see a lot of double process and things like taking care of the fiber quality with even more science are things that we always look at. And you know, we will be I spoke about nutritive. This I can give you a sneak peek in the we will relaunch nutritive in the coming months in a very impactful way. You know, it's a consumers and salons favorite all over the world. We just launched with Kérastase Symbiose, which is something that we had never done. Symbiose is a luxury anti-dandruff care, which is something that was not offered in the salon, and anti-dandruff market is something that was treated much more as a convenience, and the cosmetic aspect on the hair was not there. And so now we finally have the formulas that allow us to do that. So we're actually launching in salons this week. It's a great value proposition as well. And then scalp will continue to be a focus for us. You know, we take care of all the hair from roots to tips. And what's great is, you know, Kérastase is a prescriptive brand. So the new products that we launch, but also what already exists that your salons, our hair quiz, your stylist can recommend for you. And I'm excited also that we will continue to bring our products to many new consumers or new salons, you know, that want to work with us, and we want to educate and want to have a point of difference. So this is also a key focus for us.
Well, thank you so much for that. I know I could keep talking to you forever, but I do believe you have a lot of other commitments today. So I thank you so much for making time to be with us, sharing so much of your own personal history and leadership, and also where the brand is headed. And hope to see you soon, and can't wait to see the launches coming. I'll be keeping my eyes out for that moving forward as well.
No, great. So yeah, you can always follow us for our social channels, and if salons are interested in learning more about Kérastase or joining us, we have through our website carry us a link, and we respond to each and every single one of them. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your interest in our brand, in what we do, in our teams, and thank you for allowing us to have a voice and share which some of the points I hope could inspire some young marketers or beauty enthusiasts, stylists, or anybody who wants to have a career in in the beauty industry. So thanks for allowing that forum. Thanks for having me today, and I was very happy to exchange with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. We hope to see you soon.
Bye, Leslie. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
À bientôt.
Bye.